humanity's last stand, into the void 30 years ago. The war against the alien invaders ravaged Earth, nearly wiping out humanity entirely. Although we ultimately triumphed, the victory came at an unimaginable cost. 80% of the world's population was lost. Cities lay in ruins, silent monuments to destruction and loss. Life struggled to find its way amid the devastation. Survivors did everything in their power to piece together the shattered remnants of civilization. After years of darkness, humanity slowly began rebuilding its cities, technology, and hope. Yet beneath this fragile recovery, fear lingered. When would the aliens strike again? The best scientists and military leaders joined forces to plan a counterattack. Defense was no longer enough. The goal was to fight back, to reclaim what was lost. Together, as one last beacon of hope, they prepared to venture into the infinite void of space. Docks gleamed with cold steel and flashing lights as crews double-checked their gear. Commanders worked tirelessly to ensure every detail was in place for the mission that could restore humanity's place among the stars. Once a thriving world, Earth was now on the brink of a final battle to determine if humankind would survive. Everyone understood that this war was about more than just life or death. It was the future of the species itself. Memorials stood tall on the scorched remnants of cities, honoring those who had fallen. These places became symbols of both pain and hope. Communities of survivors united, committed to preserving humanity's values in the aftermath of annihilation. Meanwhile, space exploration surged anew as a new generation of starships prepared to journey beyond Earth. The mission, to strike back and destroy the alien bases from which their attacks were launched. Military strategists meticulously crafted plans for the decisive blow. Human willpower had never been stronger or more united. The past's wounds served as a grim reminder, but now was the time to confront the unknown. The younger generation no longer fought just to survive, they fought to win. Commander Dr. Lena Varga embodied humanity's resilience and brilliance. Assigned to lead the first counterattack fleet, she carried the heavy burden of command. Everyone knew this mission was humanity's last hope. Final preparations were underway as soldiers and engineers worked with tense focus. Technology had advanced, but so had the danger. Space was cold and merciless, and the enemy ruthless, but the human spirit burned brighter than ever. Starships lined the vast docking bays, ready for departure. Communications channels were tested one last time. Among the crews, excitement and dread mingled silently. The stakes were enormous, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The counterattack targeted a key alien world, their strategic command center. The plan called for a swift and overwhelming strike to catch the enemy off guard. Every second counted. Crossing the threshold of known space, the fleet plunged into darkness where stars gleamed coldly. Amidst the void, humanity's singular thought echoed: survive and triumph, launch. The command crackled over the radios. The first step toward retaliation was taken. The fleet surged forward, united by purpose and determination. The blackness of space swallowed the armada as it pressed on, humanity's greatest hope at its core. There was no turning back now. The first battle loomed, hearts pounding and nerves taut. The alien forces were surprisingly prepared, but human ingenuity and courage proved formidable weapons. In the command ship's bridge, Dr. Varga issued orders with steely resolve. Eyes burned with determination as tactical maps flickered across screens. This initial encounter would become one of the bloodiest battles in the interstellar war, testing not only technology but the human soul. As the conflict grew fiercer, it became clear that survival demanded more than brute strength. Humanity was also fighting to preserve its identity in the darkness. The first wave broke through, but the casualties were staggering. Still, the survivors found renewed strength and pushed onward. The human spirit refused to break. Unexpectedly, mysterious alien allies appeared on the battlefield, offering aid but hiding their true motives. Caution tempered hope, as past betrayals had left deep scars. In the shadow of war, humanity realized that victory required unity and strategic thinking, not just firepower. Deeper into enemy territory, ships uncovered alien secrets that could turn the tide. These revelations carried profound implications for humanity's future. Every day brought loss, yet determination never wavered. Each step forward brought humanity closer to the final victory. By the end of this first chapter, a new spark of hope shone amidst the endless void, the beginning of the long fight ahead. The fleet advanced deeper into enemy space, every light year bringing them closer to the heart of the alien empire. The silence of the void was broken only by the hum of engines and the distant crackle of radio chatter. Tension hung thick in the air, heavier than the vacuum outside. Commander Varga stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the holographic star map. Each blinking dot represented a potential threat or opportunity. She knew one misstep could cost them everything. Inside the war rooms back on Earth, leaders anxiously awaited updates. The fate of the mission and possibly humanity itself rested on the reports from the front. The pressure was immense, but hope flickered stubbornly in every heart. The alien resistance was fierce and relentless. Swarms of enemy fighters descended upon the fleet like a storm. Despite superior tactics and technology, the human ships were pushed to their limits. In the chaos of battle, crews worked with practiced efficiency. Every soldier, pilot, and engineer played a vital role. Their training and determination kept the fleet afloat against overwhelming odds. Unexpectedly, an alien dreadnought emerged from hyperspace, dwarfing the human ships. Its advanced weaponry unleashed devastating energy blasts that tore through the fleet's defenses. Panic threatened to spread, but Varga's comm command steadied her crews. A daring counterattack was launched. Small strike teams targeted the dreadnought's vulnerable points, weaving through a hailstorm of laser fire. The fight was brutal, but slowly the tide began to turn. Meanwhile, a reconnaissance squad uncovered a secret alien research station. The technology stored there hinted at horrifying biological weapons. Humanity's worst fears were confirmed. The aliens planned to escalate the war with devastating new tools. Scientists scrambled to analyze the stolen data, racing against time. If these weapons were unleashed on Earth or their colonies, the cost would be catastrophic. The urgency of the mission grew exponentially. Back on the command ship, alliances among the fleet's officers were tested. Differences in strategy and ideology threatened to fracture the fragile unity. Varga worked tirelessly to keep everyone focused on their shared goal. In quiet moments, soldiers reflected on what they had left behind: families, homes, and a peaceful life now shattered. The weight of sacrifice pressed heavily, but also fueled their resolve. Unexpected transmissions from a rogue alien faction offered to negotiate. Some in the fleet saw a chance for peace, while others suspected a trap. The debate grew heated, revealing cracks in the command structure. Varga decided to send envoys to meet the rogue faction under strict conditions. The hope was to gather intelligence and possibly forge an alliance against the common enemy. Trust was scarce, but so was time. The envoys returned with shocking news. The rogue aliens shared humanity's desire to end the war, but their own motives were complex and unpredictable. Cooperation was possible, but fraught with danger. Meanwhile, the fleet suffered another brutal ambush near a dense asteroid field. Many ships were lost, but survivors escaped to regroup. The cost of war was becoming painfully clear. Morale was strained, but not broken. Each loss steeled the survivors' determination to press onward. The knowledge that they fought not just for survival but for the future of their species gave them strength. In the aftermath, the fleet discovered vital intelligence about the alien command hierarchy. Decapitating their leadership could cripple the enemy's coordination. A new mission was born: a covert strike deep into enemy territory. Varga volunteered to lead the covert operation, knowing the risks were enormous. The team selected was small but elite, trained for stealth and precision. Their goal was to deliver a crippling blow to the alien command center. As the team prepared, tensions ran high. Every member was aware this mission could be a one-way trip. Bonds forged in the crucible of battle would be tested like never before. Meanwhile, back on Earth, survivors followed the news with bated breath. The world had changed forever, but hope persisted in the hearts of millions. This mission symbolized the best chance humanity had for survival and revenge. The covert team launched under the cover of darkness, slipping past enemy patrols with advanced stealth technology. Every moment was a test of nerves and skill. Failure was not an option. Inside the alien command center, unsuspecting leaders carried on, unaware the human strike force was closing in. The fate of two species now hinged on what would happen in the next few hours. The covert strike team infiltrated the alien command center with silent precision. Every shadow was a potential threat, every corridor a trap. They moved like ghosts through the enemy's stronghold, relying on their training and instincts. Inside, they discovered the vastness of the alien war machine: endless chambers filled with technology beyond human comprehension. The eerie glow of alien consoles lit the dark halls, casting unnatural shadows. It was a place that felt alive and watchful. The team's objective was clear: plant explosives at critical nodes to cripple the enemy's communication and command systems. Time was running out as reinforcements could arrive at any moment. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. Their presence had been detected. The team split up, engaging in fierce skirmishes with alien guards. The air filled with the sounds of blaster fire and shouted orders. Despite the chaos, the team pressed forward with unwavering focus. Every second counted as the explosives were carefully positioned. Communication remained vital, and their radios crackled with updates and warnings. A member of the team was wounded, but the others refused to slow down. Their mission was bigger than any individual. Sacrifice was expected, but failure was not an option. Explosions rocked the command center as the charges detonated. Systems began to fail, and confusion spread among the alien ranks. The human strike had struck a decisive blow, but escape was still a challenge. The facility was flooding with hostile forces, and the team had to fight their way back to the extraction point. Every corridor was a battleground. Back at the fleet, alarms signaled the success of the strike and the incoming enemy counterattack. Ships scrambled to defensive positions, preparing for a fierce response. The battle that followed was brutal and unforgiving. Human and alien forces clashed in a deadly dance of lasers, missiles, and strategy. The fate of the mission and perhaps the war hung in the balance. Amidst the chaos, Commander Varga coordinated efforts with calm efficiency. Her voice was a beacon guiding the fleet through the storm. Every command was precise, every decision calculated. The enemy's resolve was tested as their command infrastructure crumbled. Confusion spread, and their response faltered. Humanity's counterattack was gaining momentum. Still, the cost was steep. Several ships were lost, and casualties mounted. The pain of loss was balanced only by the hope that their sacrifice was not in vain. In the aftermath, the fleet regrouped and assessed the damage. The alien forces were disorganized, providing a crucial opportunity for a final push. The commanders debated their next move carefully. Back on Earth, news of the strike spread quickly. For the first time in decades, people dared to believe in victory. The morale boost was palpable across the remaining human colonies. The war was far from over, but the tide was turning. Humanity's resilience and courage had delivered a critical blow to the alien empire. The final chapters of this conflict were beginning to unfold. Meanwhile, the strike team recovered from their ordeal. Bonds forged in fire deepened as they shared their stories. They knew that their actions had changed the course of history. Yet, in the shadows, new threats emerged. The aliens were adapting quickly, developing new weapons and strategies. Humanity had to remain vigilant, for the war was entering its deadliest phase. The commanders began planning the next phase, a coordinated assault on multiple fronts aimed at crippling the alien war effort once and for all. Success would require unprecedented cooperation and sacrifice. As the fleet prepared, hope and fear intertwined. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity would fight until its last breath. The battle for survival had become a fight for the soul of mankind. The void awaited, and humanity was ready to meet it head-on. The fleet gathered once more, battered but unbroken, ready to launch their most daring assault yet. Every ship and soldier carried the weight of countless sacrifices, but also a fierce determination to see this fight through. The enemy's heart was within reach, and this was humanity's chance to strike a decisive blow. Commanders held tense meetings, finalizing strategies that balanced risk and reward. The success of this mission would change everything or mean the end for what remained of humankind. Every detail mattered, and no one took anything for granted. As the assault fleet moved into position, silence fell over the crews. The calm before the storm was almost unbearable, but each person steeled themselves for what was to come. This was not just a battle, it was the climax of a long, brutal war. Unexpectedly, new signals appeared on the scanners and known ships approaching at high speed. The fleet braced for another enemy strike, but the nature of the newcomers was unclear. Allies or enemies, the question hung in the air, unresolved. The assault began with overwhelming force. Lasers cut through the void, explosions lit up the darkness, and every soul aboard fought with every ounce of strength. The war was raging hotter than ever, but so was humanity's will to survive. In the thick of battle, a sudden breakthrough was made. The alien command network began to collapse. The enemy's coordination faltered, and their forces scattered. Hope surged through the fleet like a wave. Yet even in victory, the cost was devastating. Ships were lost, and brave souls fell. The scars of war ran deep, a reminder that peace would not come without sacrifice. As the dust settled, the fleet paused to regroup, aware that this was only one chapter in a much larger story. The alien threat was wounded, but not defeated. The war was far from over. Whispers of the unknown ships persisted, strange technology, unfamiliar tactics. They could change the course of the conflict entirely. Humanity faced a future filled with uncertainty, but also with possibility. Commander Varga looked out at the stars, knowing that whatever came next, humanity would face it together. The void was vast and full of danger, but it was also where the next chapter awaited. With the embers of battle fading, the fleet set a new course into the unknown. The fight for survival, for hope, for the future, was far from finished. And so, humanity's last stand continued.